Students, let's read the story. His first flight. The young seagull was alone on his ledge. His two brothers and his sister had already flown away the day before. He had been afraid to fly with them. Somehow, when he had taken a little run towards the brink of the ledge and attempted to flap his wings, he became afraid. The great expanse of sea stretched down beneath, and it was such a long way down, miles down. He felt certain that his wings would never support him. So he bent his head and ran away back to the little hole under the ledge, where he slept at night. Even when each of his brothers and his little sister, whose wings were far shorter than his own, ran to the brink, flapped their wings and flew away. He failed to muster up courage to take that plunge which appeared to him so desperate. His father and mother had come around, calling to him, shrilling, upbraiding him, threatening to let him starve on this ledge unless he flew away. But for the life of him, he could not move. So as I gave you the brief summary, this little child, that is your baby seagull, was too scared to fly. So he had a hole under the ledge. Ledge is, students, a narrow piece of cliff protruding out into the sea. So he saw his brothers and sisters who had taken to flight. Being a bird, he needs to fly, and the parents were trying their level hard to teach him to fly. So it is not that he did not try. He did try. He did come to the brink. Brink is the edge of the ledge. He did come, but when he saw the vast expanse of sea beneath him, he could not gather the courage. Muster the courage means gather the courage to take on to the flight or to flap his wings and fly. Whereas his brothers and sisters who had shorter wings and who were weaker than him, they had already taken to flight. They were flying, they were enjoying. Both his parents, mother and father, they were trying their level hard to teach this child also to fly. They scolded him, they threatened him, but this baby seagull in no way was going to take on to flying. So, and what was the thing which was holding him back? His fear of death. Okay, so that he thought if he takes to fly, he is going to fall and die. Now let's come down to the next paragraph. That was 24 hours ago. Since then, nobody had come near him. The day before, all day along, he had watched his parents flying about with his brothers and sisters, perfecting them in the art of flight, teaching them how to skim the waves, how to dive for fish. He had in fact seen his older brother catch his first herring and devour it. Standing on the rock while his parents circled around, raising a proud crackle. Crackle is the sound of these seagulls. And all the morning, the whole family had walked about on the big plateau midway down the opposite cliff, taunting him with his cowardice. So it was 24 hours. He was hungry and he has not taken to flight. And the other family, the rest of the family was busy flying. The parents were busy teaching their other chicks, like his brothers and sister, the art of flying. They taught them how to dive into the water, how to skim the waves. In fact, his elder brother even has gone a step beyond, that he caught his first prey, that is herring, a kind of fish, and devoured it. Devour means just to tear it apart and eat it. Okay, and all of them were making mockery of him. They were making fun of him and they were calling him as a coward. So the next paragraph, students. The sun was now ascending the sky. The sun was coming up, blazing on his ledge that faced the south. He felt the heat because he had not eaten since the previous night. So it was a long hours of hunger. He was hungry. and parents were determined that the child, their child or the baby seagull needs to fly and to catch its prey. He stepped slowly out to the brink of the ledge. Slowly, he is still trying, coming to the edge of his ledge and standing on one leg with other leg hidden under his wing. So he is trying to woo his mother. Okay, he is trying to impress his mother, because we find mothers are the like people, or they are the creatures with very soft heart. They cannot see the children in pain. So he is also trying to impress his mother. So what is he doing? He is also coming to the brink of the ledge and is standing on one leg. Other leg he is hidden under his wing. He is closing his eyes and is trying to pretend that he is asleep and pretend to be falling asleep. Still they took no notice of him. He saw his two brothers and his sisters lying on the plateau, dozing with their heads sunk into their necks. His father was preening the feathers. Preening means sorting out the feathers, cleaning the feathers, arranging the feathers, preening. On his white back, only his mother was looking at him. She was standing on the little high hump on the plateau, a raised ground on the plateau. Her white breast thrust forward now and again. She tore a piece of fish that lay at her feet and then scraped each side of her beak on the rock. The sight of the food maddened him. How he loved to tear food that way, scraping his beak now and again to wet it. So students, he was pretending to fall asleep, whereas his brothers and sisters, they had been for hunting, they had been for flying in the early hours of the morning, and as sun was rising, it was becoming hot. So they had now, they were now resting, they were trying to doze off after getting tired with their morning exercise. The father was busy arranging his feathers, but the mother was watching him, because definitely mother was not happy that he is not taken to flight today, or he was not able to fly. So mother was closely watching him. She was standing on a little raised hump, that is a ground on the plateau. And what did she do then? She just she took up the piece of fish. She tore a piece of fish with her beak, and this baby seagull was watching it. And as the baby seagull was hungry for long hours, he was really mad now. He really wanted to have his food. Okay, so he really wanted that his mother should come and give him, or he also wanted that he wanted to tear the fish and to eat the fish. So now he was hunger driven, okay, which was understood by his mother, and this only was used by his mother to make him fly. So let's see the next paragraph. Ga, ga, ga. He cried, begging her to bring him some food. So ga, 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 he tried begging her that the mother should give him some food. Kwa, kwa, ha. She screamed back derisively. Mother is also not less. She is also giving a call and telling, you are stupid. So this must be happening to all of you students as it is lockdown, and you are also there at home. You get up late in the morning, you don't obey your parents to get up in the morning, and many a times you must have seen your parents also telling, do this and then I'll do that. You people say that, do this and then I'll do this. So this battle between parents and children continues, and this is not only with human beings, it is with the animals and the birds also we see. So very nicely he is telling his mother, give me the food. Mother is telling, you do obey me, then I'll give you the food. So let's see who wins. Okay. So then we find, but he kept calling plaintively, and after a minute or so, he uttered a joyful scream. His mother had picked up a piece of fish and was flying across to him with it. He leaned out eagerly. So ultimately, as you also do, you people blackmail your parents, isn't it, emotionally? And ultimately we find that parents agree to the children's wish. So he was also extremely happy. He kept on calling to his mother, plaintively, simply, very, we can say, with lots of innocence, we can say. And then we find that he is extremely happy and he is giving a joyful cry. Why? The mother picked up the fish and flew towards him. But students, parents are parents. Never underestimate them. Okay? So how not to underestimate and to respect and obey your parents? I'm coming up in the next paragraph. Let's see now. Tapping the rock with his feet. Who? This baby seagull was tapping. Very happy. Mother has agreed to him. He will be getting the fish without fly. Trying to get nearer to her as she flew across. So he was trying to get nearer, but the mother flew him across. But when she was just opposite to him, she halted. She just came opposite to the boat and she waited. She just stopped. Her wings motionless. The wings were not flapping. The piece of fish in her beak almost within the reach of his beak. So the fish was very close. The mother was very close to the baby, and the beak of the fish which was holding, the beak of the mother which was holding the fish was also very close to the beak of baby seagull. It was as close as he would have taken the fish, but no, mothers are mothers. So let's see what happens. He waited a moment in surprise, wondering why she did not come nearer, and then, maddened by hunger, he dived at the fish. With a loud scream, he fell outward and downward into the space. Then a monstrous terror seized him, and his heart stood still. He could hear nothing, but it only lasted a minute. The next moment he felt his wings spread outward. The wind rushed against his breast, feathers, then under his stomach and against his wings. He could feel the tip of his wings cutting through the air. He was not falling headlong now. He was soaring gradually downward and outward. He was no longer afraid. He just felt a bit dizzy. Then he flapped his wings once and he soared upward. So now you understand why I was telling you mothers are very smart. Don't underestimate them. So mother took its position, her position, just at a place that it was very near to him. So he was wondering why the mother is not giving him the food. But mother had the plans absolutely ready in her mind. So she was motionless, and this fellow, this baby seagull, was mad with hunger. And the moment it dived onto the fish, what happened? He fell off the cliff. And as he fell off the cliff, he knew he's going to die now. He was left with no other option but to flap his wings. And then now when he started flapping his wings, what to do? He had no option. So he started flapping his wings, and then that fear which was there in his heart came out, and then he realized that the wind was blowing. He could feel the air. He could feel the tip of his wings were cutting the air, and then he screamed out of joy. And then see what is he doing? Ga, 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 ga. So he's screaming now happily. Why? Because he has learnt how to fly. He has again overcome his fear now. Qua, qua, ha. His mother swooped past him. I think the happiest creature would have been his mother. So his mother also swooped in, came near to his her son, and then she was also very happy. Her wings making a loud noise. Obviously, this all shows that the mother was very, very happy. He answered her with another scream. Now he is also happy. He is screaming now out of joy. And then his father also came. Father flew over him screaming. He saw his two brothers and his sister flying round him. The whole entire family was now flying round him, and they were encouraging. His two brothers and his sister flying round him, curveting and banking and soaring and diving. So these are the various flight movement, students. They were curveting, that is encircling, okay, that is leaping like a horse. Then banking, that is you are flying with one wing higher than the other, that is usually you can see on the Google like this way they go. One wing is higher, the other one is lower. And then we find that they were soaring, going up in the sky, and then diving, okay. Then he completely forgot that he had not always been able to fly. He forgot that he was the same person who used to come to the edge of the cliff and then go back, as he could not muster the courage. And he felt as if he has been flying for ages. And commended himself to dive and soar and curve and shrieking strength. So he was diving, he was soaring, he was taking ground, and he was just shouting out of joy. Because his happiness, his joy knew no bounds. He was near the sea now, flying straight over it. So he was the seagulls are really found near the sea, facing straight out over the ocean. The same vast stretch of the ocean which used to scare him before, now he was ready to dive. He saw the vast green sea beneath him with little ridges moving over it, and he turned his beak sideways and cawed amusedly. Cawed amusedly means he was crying amusedly, happily. His parent and his brothers and sister had landed on this green flooring ahead of him. Green flooring, students, they are referring to the sea surface. They were beckoning to him. Beckoning means calling him to the sea, calling shrilly. He dropped his legs to stand on the green sea. So as he has not taken to swimming on the surface of the sea, he just wanted to land on the sea with the legs. Okay. His legs sank into it. Obviously the legs went deep into the water, or were sunk into the water. He screamed with fright and attempted to rise again. He was very scared. He thought he might get drowned. So he just pulled up his legs and wanted to flap his wings and wanted to fly. But you know what had happened? He was very tired now. But he was tired and weak with hunger and could not rise. Exhausted. He was very exhausted by this strange exercise of flying. His feet sank into the green sea. So his feet sank. And then his belly touched what? The belly of the seagull, baby seagull, touched the green sea surface. And he sank no further. Obviously, these birds are like, they will be swimming, they will be floating. He was floating on it. And around him, his family was screaming, because he was the only member of the family who had not taken to flying. And now he was flying as well as swimming. Praising him, and their beaks were offering him scraps of dogfish. So what happened? So they always shouting, they were screaming of joy, and he was also screaming of joy, and all his family members, his father, mother, brothers, sisters, all were offering him pieces of dogfish. It was a party time for him. So this is how the baby seagull took his first flight. So this shows, students, that mothers are very intelligent, and once they decide, they will make it happen. And it was all the efforts of the mother, the clever planning, the trick which the mother thought of, that this baby seagull took to flying, and ultimately learned the natural characteristics of the bird. Students, there are questions on this story. So I'll be putting up in a slide, the slide which will be following this. You need to answer them. So I'll be discussing only a few questions. Question number 1 is, why was the young seagull afraid to fly? Because he was scared to die. Okay. Then second is, the sight of the food maddened him. What does this suggest? That he was hungry for long hours, nearly 24 hours. What compelled the young seagull to finally fly? The hunger. He wanted food desperately, and that is what compelled him to fly. The third question, they were beckoning him, calling shrilly. Why did the seagull's father and mother threaten him and cajole him to fly? Because he was the only member, like the child or baby out of all the brothers and sisters or all their children who did not fly up till now. So they were trying all possible ways in which they could make him fly. Have you ever had a similar experience where your parents encouraged you to do something that you were too scared to try? Discuss this in pairs or groups. So since you cannot form pairs and groups, you can just write a paragraph about it. Question number 5. In the case of the bird flying, it seems a natural act and a foregone conclusion that it should succeed. In the examples you have given in the answer to the previous question, that is question number 4, that whether you were encouraged to do something which you were scared of, was your success guaranteed or was it important for you to try, regardless of the possibility of failure? This is again a general question. Student, question number 4 is a paragraph writing. Question number 5, if you want to write in the form of paragraph. Apart from these questions, I've added few more questions on this story. Please go through the questions, and if you have any doubt, ask me, feel free to ask me the doubt, and if you know the answers, do answer the questions.
Wow.